Do you have any Goldie Hawn stories?
Are you kidding?
No, I'm just asking everybody that just to see.
Really? Yeah,
I
I have
asked.
a Goldie Hawn story.
You do? Oh, you do? Okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, so one night I was out to see my friend Jared's band play, and it was in Los Angeles. This was at my senior year at Cal Arts, so it would have been 2001. And went to go see Jared play. He was in a band with Ry Cooder's son, Joaquin Cooder. And it was like, at the time, it was a Latin kind of samba party band. It was fun. And I'd go see him whenever they played, whenever I could. We'd go down and see him. It's always fun to go to, Santa Monica or whatever they were. It was the Temple Bar in Santa Monica. I remember that. So anyway, we played, and what we heard, I went down with Ryan. Jared went down earlier with his car. Um, Ryan is my friend. Me, Ryan, and Jared were all out in California together from Marquette, Michigan, going to Cal Arts. Jared was not in Cal Arts, but he was playing in this group, and so we'd go see him. So it was kind of like we always would go see each other, being three Upers in LA whenever any of us did anything that where we could get out of the house, we did. So anyway, so I'm down there. I went down with Ryan. We meet Jared there, and after the gig, it was a good gig, and Jared said, "Hey, there's a party that's going on. Joaquin told me about a party, and I think we should go." And then Joaquin actually came up to Ryan and I, and he said, "Hey, Jared's gonna go with somebody else, and I'll give you guys a ride." So we went with Joaquin into his car and drove, and he Joaquin told us that there was this girl at the gig who's interested in Jared, interested in our friend, and so she wanted him to come to the party, and so she kind of created this party so that she could invite Jared over. And I'll never forget it because we drove and we parked on the side of the road, and it was just a corridor of vines. It was a corridor of like ivy, walls and ivy walls. And we got out of the car and we walked right towards an ivy wall, and Joaquin goes and he hits a button. He's like, "We're here," and the wall goes and opens up like like we're entering an evil lair or something. And we walk into one of these houses of the rich and famous, Robin Lear's, like this panoramic view of this amazing house with a lit up fountain and a big entrance. And we went into the big garage in the side, and then went into the door in the side. And I just saw this enormous kitchen. It was just the biggest kitchen I'd ever seen, bigger than restaurant kitchens. It was huge. And then we walked through a room, and there was fireplaces in every room. They were like 10 feet tall, these huge fireplaces. Then we got all the way to the back of the room, and I saw Jared, and Ryan went over to Jared, and I, for some reason, I turned the corner or something. I might have followed Joaquin or something. And when I turned back, then Jared and Ryan had gone out the door, and turns out that Kate was this girl took Jared and Ryan on a tour. She wanted to take them on a tour of the grounds or whatever. So I was in this room all by myself, and I'm looking around, and I remember first I looked and I saw like this picture frame, and it was like I didn't think twice about it. I thought, oh, that's a picture they haven't put a photo in yet, because it was like Kurt Russell, Goldie Hawn, and the Dalai Lama. And I'm like, and it just looked like a home picture. They were just like in home clothes or whatever, and like they were tourists. And then I sat down on the couch and I looked on the fireplace, and above the fireplace was an Oscar. I'm like, what? And I start looking around and I start seeing who's here. Do I recognize anybody here? But there's an Oscar on the fireplace. And, I wasn't talking to anybody. There's about 20 people in the room, but I wasn't talking. I didn't know anybody. I knew Jared and Ryan. And so I walked over to the Oscar and it said, Best Supporting Actress, Goldie Hawn. And I'm like, I turned to Joaquin and I said, whose house is this? He's like, oh, this is Goldie Hawn and Kurt Russell's house. And I sat up And I was like, okay, this is my LA moment. I'm having it right now. Like I've been here for 3 years, and now suddenly I'm in this Los Angeles home of this famous, and so what I decided to do was go walk around on my own. It was a huge place. I mean, it was like walking around a compound. It was enormous, and I'm just walking, and I stumbled into a library. This was like, I don't know, 2 in the morning after the show, after the gig, and I went into this library that had like the staircase, the ladder that rolls, and like there was all these awards all over, Kurt Russell's awards. And I remember seeing this book on the table. It said it was open to the first page. It said, "To Goldie," from Ernest Hemingway. It's like, okay, this is all too much. And so I was like, I started walking back. I was like, they must be coming back soon. And I started walking back, and I see this light, and I hear these people talking down this hallway. And I walked down the hall, and I looked, and it was actually, I could see it was the front entrance of the house, big grand dual staircase going up. And I was coming in from under the staircase, and I was looking out. Everything was dark, so it was kind of tough to see. And I see Kate Hudson, Goldie Hawn's daughter, was sitting there in tears, crying. And I looked up, and I could see just the nightgown of Goldie Hawn at the ledge. And she was yelling at her daughter for bringing people over and having a party, like giving her real hard shit and telling her, "You got to get these people out of here now." And I heard that, and I'm like, I'm going to hightail it back and let everybody know what's going on.
Where Kurt comes out?
Kurt wasn't there. He wasn't there. And so like I go back, and I'm like, Kate's getting yelled at. I saw Jared, I saw Ryan. I was like, Kate's getting yelled at right now. Everybody's going to have to leave. And they said, yeah, we know. And she said, it's cool. We're going to go up to Kate's room. And so it was like 5 of us, a couple of Kate's friends, and Joaquin and Jared and me. We all went up to Kate's room, which was, it was the square footage of my house footprint. My whole house, this room was just enormous. And we hung out in her room for a while, and she cried, and she said, that she just got yelled at. She gets yelled at like this all the time. And she was just having a kid and mother moment. And, she's like, and her mom was upset for having a party at her house at 2 a.m. But anyway, she said, will you guys help me get everybody out of here? And so we went up to her room, and she tasked us with getting everybody out of her house. And like, I remember one of the people was James King. He's the saxophone player for now the saxophone player for Fitz and the Tantrums, and he's like the music director, and he travels the world playing and whatnot. He was one of the people we had to kick out. And so we had to kick all these people out of a mansion suddenly at 2:30, and Kate thanked us and everything, and she was like, Jared became her hero for helping with the situation, and they went on a date. And so Jared and Kate went on this date, and in the middle of the date, Kate got a call from Lenny Kravitz, and she cut the date short and left, and they never saw each other again. And then, like, literally the end of that summer, she was married to Chris from the
Black Crow.
Chris
Robinson.
Chris Robinson, right? She was married to Chris Robinson. So she was after a musician that summer, and for a while there, this kid from the UP was on her radar. So that's my Goldie Hawn story.
All right, that's a great Goldie Hawn story. Here, we're going to cease the conversation for a little bit and take a sonic adventure, and we're going to hear and see this awesome performance featuring Mr. John Churchville.
Thanks, Dan.